All right, so Locomotion 3, this is the final video in the beginner series of Locomotion. We're gonna learn the lizard crawl. The lizard crawl is, out of these three anyway, the most technical. There's the most points of technique. And honestly, I would argue it's the most demanding. It's the hardest one. It's very helpful if you can do 10 toe push-ups pretty easily, like you have that body weight strength. It's very helpful if you have, if you can easily do things like lunges, you have some form of hip mobility, because it requires that. It's also helpful if you spent some time doing like the bear crawl and stuff like that. You don't have to start there. Again, it's just helpful. So I said there's levels to the lizard crawl. The most basic way to put it is the farther away from the floor you are while you do it, the easier it is. The closer you stay to the floor, the harder it is, because you're basically holding the bottom of a push-up position while you're crawling. I mean, if you're not sure if that's hard or not, go ahead and hold the bottom of a push-up position. Like, that adds up pretty fast. Now you're adding crawling with it, okay? We're still locomoting in the same way with opposite hand and foot. It's just a little bit different. There's also a little swivel in the hips I want you to look out for. So I'm gonna go to the back of the patio and we're gonna go ahead and get started. All right. So you start in the bear crawl position, but then how it's different, how the lizard is different from the bear crawl, is instead of crawling from the all fours, we're actually gonna get into kind of a deep lunge position. So you're gonna take just so we're on the same page, you're gonna take your left foot and put it up, okay? And then up towards your left hand, excuse me. And then you're gonna take your right hand, put it a little bit in front of your left hand, okay? Then you're gonna take your right foot, it feels like we're playing some weird game of Twister right now, and you're gonna extend it behind you. So it's like if you've ever done like a lizard pose in yoga, it's kind of like that, like a hip flexor stretch. So from here though, we're actually gonna do a push-up. So your hands should be staggered, okay? Your left foot and left hand should be next to each other, and we do a push-up. Now from there, we're gonna basically switch sides. So we're going to take a big step forward with the left hand as we push off with the left foot, okay? And as we're pushing off, the right foot comes up. Now we're just switching sides, okay? The big thing that people miss is the hip swivel. If you've ever done any kind of wrestling, you think of it kind of like a sprawl. You're dipping the hip towards the ground, do another push-up. Big swing with the right hand, push off, dip the hip, and push up. You may have to do some, finagling, some adjusting, that's okay. Big step with the left hand, bring the right foot up, push up. And then you can kind of string them together. Okay, so that's the most beginner version. Once that's easy, and please wait till it's easy because that takes a long time. Then you start doing this in a bent elbow position. So instead of starting with your hands straight, or your arms straight, you start a little lower to the ground. And then you're still doing the same things, only now it's like you're trying to crawl under like a low fence or something. And you'll feel how significantly harder that gets. Just remember the swivel in the hips. And you can already hear my voice probably, the heart rate picking up. And then eventually you go to where you are trying to skim the ground with your chest. It looks something like this. You can see veins popping out of my neck. Here's my voice. Not easy. Whew. So that is the lizard crawl. Again, I can't stress enough with all of these, but especially this one, the more technical ones. Live with the beginner one for a very long time, and you'll be glad you did because you'll lay a good foundation. So honestly, those three, the bear crawl, the side step, the lizard crawl, you could stick with those for months and really develop a great foundation for locomotion. So for me, I started off with just a couple days a week, graduated up to every day. Now it's, a couple days a week probably now because I'm working on other things, but it's a core part of my practice because I love it. And if you're willing to get through the awkward part, which is awkward and hard in the beginning, like anything else, you'll be so glad you did.